welcome back to my channel and a special warm welcome if you are new here. My name is Rachel Hoffman and I own and operate Turn of the Century Antiques, which is where I am right now. We are a family-owned doll shop, second and now third generation with my daughter doll shop out here in Denver, Colorado, and I started the virtual doll convention in late 2018. We had our first convention in 2019, and we are just doing all kinds of wonderful doll things and putting it out on the internet. But one of the things that I do a lot is also talk about life and love and keeping it real. And one of the things that has helped me immensely through the years of experiencing life and everything that comes with it and the ups and the downs, and especially the hardships, has been sharing it and talking about it with you and on the internet. And it brought me so much peace and community 2 years ago when my mom passed away, almost 3 in April, because so many people were going through something similar. None of our situations are the same, but a lot of us are going through grief. And grief, once you've felt real, true, big grief, we're all in the same world and community together with that. And when I started putting my thoughts and feelings out on the internet, things helped so much because I knew I wasn't alone. And sometimes during the holidays, grief can rear its ugly head. It can pop up. And until my mom passed away, I never understood what it felt like when people said the holidays are hard. Never. The holidays, I lived a blessed life. My holidays were always wonderful and magical for me as a child and growing up. Once my mom started to get sick with Alzheimer's, that's when I started to get a little bit of a taste, because when you're going about your life, you don't envision it changing really. You enjoy your life and take it for what it is, which is good. I don't think people should live in fear of like what could happen or what could change, and you should enjoy your life for what it was. But I never sat there and envisioned that Christmases were going to be different or holidays were going to be different or we weren't going to be celebrating the same way that we always celebrated before. And so when she started to get Alzheimer's, and our first Christmas that we didn't have a big celebration where we had a huge party, had a Santa over, did different things. That for me started the process of those feelings of just everything that was just changing and evolving, and knowing that, hey, my life is changing. Things aren't always going to be the same. Things are going to be different. And I have to find my joy and my holiday and my love and my appreciation in different ways, and not in maybe the same way we always had it before. I have coffee, by the way, and if you have something festive to drink, I am so glad that you're here with me and that I can have these chats with you. The last one was just so wonderful. I miss them so much. And I really wanted to talk about this because I know a lot of us are having feelings, especially around the holidays, with loss, with so many things that can come up, and especially missing someone or losing someone or something. You know, it includes animals too. I've seen just on social media so many of my wonderful people that I'm connected with as their beloved animals have crossed over the rainbow bridge, and love knows no boundaries of anything. So I have some coffee mixed with some protein drink. If my voice is kind of weird, I have been nursing a ugly cold for the last week. I haven't been able to go to my exercise classes. I'm finally getting better, but it's if you have a cold or you have anything right now, it's just like, ugh. It puts you behind, because I really wanted to do a bunch of stuff, and it's just kind of slowed me down a little bit, but I have to slow down and I have to get a little bit better just so I can get better. So anyway, that's what's going on, but I really wanted to have this talk because it's like almost Christmas. And Christmas is one of my favorite holidays, but holidays have changed for me so much. And I am finding so much beauty and so much life and so much to celebrate and love in the holidays now, but it has taken work because I went through, and I'm still going through, intense grief over the loss of my mother. Now, everyone losing a parent is hard. It's so incredibly hard. No matter what age you are, no matter how close you were with that parent too, losing a parent is incredibly difficult. And for me, in my situation, my mother and I, we worked here every day. We were in constant communication. She was my best friend. So much of my life was defined by our relationship in a good way. This wasn't like an unhealthy thing. We were really good friends and we enjoyed the doll business together, and we were mother and daughter. And sometimes those lines got blurred and we would have arguments at work, and then we'd be mother and daughter like as soon as 5:30 hit. And it was like very interesting dynamic, very interesting, especially as I got older and started to really manage things around here. It was like there was always this constant pull. So when my mom passed away, for me, I had to go through almost like a complete reclaiming of myself, as my friend Bradley put it one time. A renewal of defining who I am in this world without this person. I remember the first time I had to go out into the doll world without my mom alive on this earth, and I thought it would be fine, and it was incredibly difficult. The first time I went to a nail salon that I used to always bring my mom to, and the first time I went with just me and they asked where my mom was, and I said that she had passed away, and everyone in the salon just stopped and stared at me because they were in disbelief, because I had just brought her there like 2 weeks before. And it made me so uncomfortable and sad that I actually ran out of the salon crying. And I've never been back. I've never been back to that salon. Things like that happen to all of us. And we learn and we grieve and we figure out those feelings. And so what I want to talk about today are some of the things that have helped me with the holidays, with redefining who I am, reinventing myself, and figuring out how to navigate the world with the sense of loss and grief with my loss. Whatever loss you have, we're all on the same planet, we're all on the same ride. And if you have experienced grief in your life, whether it was 40 years ago or it just happened, maybe this will help, but for mostly I just love chatting with you, and I know that it helps me. I think it's a really good way for us to just bond, especially around the holidays. And hey, I have a beautiful background. So I follow an Instagram account called Peaceful Barb, and she is always with her daughter giving out such great advice and feelings. And recently she came out with one that was 4 tips for managing grief, especially around the holidays. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so helpful. So the first one is that no feeling is ever final. And that one resonated so much with me, because when I was first experiencing my grief, it was so sharp and so painful and so deep. And some days I felt all kinds of different feelings, especially like with the doll community. I thought, should I just, go away forever? Do I even want to do this without her? Who am I without her? Just the thought of not having my mother, all these feelings, and I still have them. But when you remind yourself that no feeling is ever final, I don't think that time heals all wounds by any means. The wound is still there, but time does change that feeling. So after about a year of my mom being gone on my first Christmas, my feelings started to change from just, I couldn't even look. I could barely even, it was hard for me to even put up a tree. It was hard for me to do all those things, to where it was just too hard, to where my heart softened a little bit to joy and happiness when I thought about it. And it's continued to get better. Now, sometimes it just smarts. It just hurts. Like yesterday, I went for a massage with my best friend of 24 years, and it was so fun. And we were talking about our mothers, and I was talking about my mom, and I said she was, and I said whatever I was gonna say. But just saying that and saying she was, I welled up with tears just right there. And that kind of stuff is probably gonna happen for the rest of my life. And I'm okay with that. I have to be okay with that, because I want to live, especially for her, because that's what all parents want for their children, is to live a happy and joyful life. She would want nothing more for me to live a happy and joyful life, and to not have her passing hold me back from doing that. So no feeling is ever final. So if you right now, you are in the depths of your grief, if you're in step 1 or step 2 of when I describe how I was in the very beginning and in the first 6 months and in that first year, where you have so much window fog and you're looking out and you just can't see beyond that foggy window, those feelings aren't final. They change, they evolve, they get better. Sometimes they feel a little bit worse. Sometimes it doesn't get better as time goes by, but they do change. So that helps a lot. Another tip is to not put a timeline on your grief. When my mom first passed away, and so for me in my life, my big thing is my mom. That's my big hurt. That's the deepest thing. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to me as far as grief and loss. So that's what I'm always going to refer to. And I hope I don't ever feel anything deeper than that. And my dad is alive and well, and I'm very close with him. And so this is the only thing I'm dealing with right now. But when she first passed away, I thought I almost wanted to put a timeline on my grief. It was so deep for so long. It was, I think, 12 weeks before I could do a video. And even that was extremely difficult. For the first year, I could barely talk about it without crying. And I thought, I don't know, I thought I had to put a timeline on it. Like after a year, you know, I just need to be better. This happens to so many people. This is what happens in life. This is the cycle of life. But don't do that to yourself. Don't put a timeline on your grief. Don't think, oh, it's been 6 months and I still feel this way. Give yourself time and space to grieve. And once you take away that timeline, it takes away so much pressure of that you need to feel a certain way at a certain time, because you don't have to feel a certain way at a certain time. You can't help how you feel. And having that grief and just chipping away at it, grief can sometimes be like a carbonated bottle and that's been shaken up. And if you let out too much at once, all the steam topples over and it just all falls over and makes a big mess. And so sometimes we just need to let a little bit of that steam out just a little bit at a time, kind of like chipping away at a piece of cheese. You can't visit it every day. You can't deal with that every day. It's just too much. And so when you don't put yourself on a timeline, I think that helps a lot. And let me know what you think too. I love hearing your comments and your tips, and so many of you have been through all kinds of losses. You've opened up to me and told me so many things about your life and what you have been through. Another thing that has helped me too is not saying, oh, well, they had it worse, so I shouldn't feel so bad. Don't do that to yourself either. Everyone has our own journey and we all have our own story of loss. So because it happened to somebody else, because somebody else's story is sadder or harder, it doesn't diminish your story and how it felt for you. It's extremely personal. It's so personal. Grief and loss and sharing in that and how we navigate those feelings. No two peoples are the same. We can share with each other and say, oh, I felt like that before and I feel like that sometimes. And that really does help, because then you know you're not alone. You're never, never, never alone. Sometimes we feel so alone, no matter how much you have, of course, no matter how much money you have or how many dolls you have or how much fame you have. Our thoughts sometimes they tell us lies about ourselves, where we just start to feel really down and unworthy. And that's when we have to really do the work for me, I have to always bring it back to gratitude. Is just feeling and reminding myself just how blessed I am and how incredibly blessed I was to have such a wonderful mother for so many years. And that always just turns it around really quick. But it's easy to start falling into that. So if you are dealing with loss and it has been a number of years or a number of months or however long that you thought was socially acceptable or not socially acceptable, relieve yourself of any kind of shame or any kind of hiding or any kind of thought that you had about putting a timeline on that, because there is no timeline on it. I remember in the beginning, I thought like I should be over it at a certain point, and just you don't get over it, and release yourself of that timeline. I still am so gentle with myself, and I still let myself grieve so much, because I'm going through a different set of feelings now with having a daughter, a wonderful daughter here at the doll shop. And my mom wanted more than anything to have a grandchild in her lifetime. It was never possible at the time because I wasn't in a place to have one on so many levels, so it just wasn't meant to be. But of course I look at her all the time and I think, oh, now I have this wonderful grandbaby and she's not here. So I have to deal with those thoughts a lot. That helps, is to just release yourself of any timeline. Another one that I really want you to keep in mind is that you don't have to explain or apologize for your sadness. That one's a really tough one, because a lot of times we over apologize for everything. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I don't mean to be like this. I'm sorry I'm like this. I'm sorry. It's hard to feel like you're inconveniencing people, or that you are being a downer, or that you're having different feelings than you think you should, but it's just so normal. After a big loss or during a challenging time or maybe during the holidays, not everything and everyone is going to be bright and merry. It's wonderful to feel that way. I love feeling that way. I do feel that way. Having this and doing this is just, it helps my heart so much. But there are just some times when it just doesn't feel bright and merry, and you don't have to apologize for that. Just take the time that you need to feel what you need to feel and don't try to go around it. And especially don't put on like a fake face for somebody else. It's easier said than done. I'm not in your situation. I'm not where you are. Sometimes you do have to get through certain events and certain things, and you do have to fake your way through it sometimes with just certain things. But I'm just talking about just like in your regular life and those thoughts that sometimes get into your head just when you're by yourself, or especially late at night. Oh my gosh. Late at night is when you start to just, I don't know. And when I say you, I mean me. I sometimes just start going down that rabbit hole of things I regret from 15 or 20 years ago. Bad memories. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. So that's a big one. Yesterday when we were driving up to get our massages, my friend Vicky said, she didn't mean anything by it, of course. And it wasn't really a hurtful comment or anything. But she said, I'm just so sorry that you didn't get to visit your mom when she passed, that you couldn't visit her in the hospital. And I was like, because yeah, I feel that. I feel that all the time. I went through so much regret and feelings about that. And I like couldn't believe she even reminded me of that. And that stuff happens. People, of course, they don't mean anything at all. She meant that to be in like a supportive, nice thing. But for me, it was like, I can't believe you reminded me of that. Like, of course, I don't really want to think about that. That's a hard thought for me to think about. And I was like, oh, wow. But I wasn't gonna, of course, like get mad at her or say anything or say, I wish you didn't say that to me or anything, because, you know, she's my friend and I want to enjoy our day. And I know where that came from. There's just gonna be tricky times. There's always going to be tricky times. And with your version of your hurt, I just have to say what I just said is I hope all of these things maybe help a little bit. And truly, there are so many of us out there that care about you and want you to smile and want you to have a happy holiday and a beautiful season. Even if it has changed for you so much, like my version of the holidays has changed so much from how I've always known it. As soon as my mom left this earth, Christmas was just different. And then I realized that it's within me. I have that power. It's inside of me to reinvent that holiday and to give myself and my child the holiday that I want and deserve for myself. And that it's not just gonna happen. And I have to create that magic. And it made me really realize how much magic my mom created and the great lengths and extents that she went to create this incredible holiday and this beautiful magic. When you're a child, and it's always been that way since day one. I was born on December 23rd. Oh, Holland Diane's coming over here. I was born on December 23rd. And so like my birthday and holiday and Christmas, it was just always such a joyous time. It was just so believable. Santa and everything. And I just never knew holidays a different way. I never did. Holland Diane. Stanley's bringing her. Stanley's so good with her so that I can come and have these chats, because you cannot have chats with a big busy baby. She's a big busy baby. Look at this sweet outfit. He even got her these really cute socks and a really cute sweater. This will, I don't think this is gonna fit her next Christmas, but we're gonna wear this all through January. This is so cute. I'm gonna put it on her until it doesn't fit anymore. But it was for 12 to 18 months. And look how cute. Look how sweet. You show them your sweet, cute outfit from your Uncle John Port. And we've been wearing shoes. And she came to work in her Santa pajama onesie. Huh? You've been having fun with your Stanlers? How's your nose? Jacked up? Oh, we need to blow our nose. Get some saline in there, clean it out, huh? So it's up to me to have a beautiful holiday and to do the things that my mom did with her. And I'm gonna do that. We're gonna do that, huh? Did I get lipstick on your outfit? Oh dang. Oh dang. There she is. Get 'em. Holland Diane. It's your second Christmas with us. We love you so much. And look at her little hair. Look at her little hair that's coming in. Is your hair coming in? What do you think about living in a store like this? Huh? Having Stanley? She doesn't know any other way. We brought her to work at 10 days old. Remember when I brought that little bean to work, Stan?
Yep.
She was that tiny. She's trying to get my cup of coffee. Give her back to Stanley. So we are filming our Christmas special here today at the shop. But I really wanted to talk about this because the holidays can just be so beautiful and bright, and they are. And then you have those moments. Joy and grief can exist together. I know this so much because I had such a fabulous day yesterday with my friend. And then I had several moments where it was hard and I teared up. But I could move through them pretty quickly because of the fact that no feeling is ever final. And when you have the thoughts and you think about the thoughts and you have to go through those thoughts over and over, you do get better at them. I don't know how else to say that, but I do get better at them. So when I used to have those thoughts or those events, or I'd be reminded that I didn't get to say goodbye to her in the hospital because of COVID and they wouldn't let me in, that memory or that something like that 2 years ago would have floored me. It would have taken the wind out of me. I probably would have started crying. It would have been hard for me to navigate and to feel those feelings, but I have felt them so many times. And so now when it comes, I can stop and I can remind myself that, Rachel, they had armed guards at the door. Like, they would have never let me in, ever. They were so strict at the time, and it was awful. That's our story. And I know that my mom in her passing was surrounded by love, and she was surrounded by angels, and the Lord took her home. You know, she's in the arms of the Almighty, and she's not suffering anymore. And all I can do is just hope that she knows how much we truly loved her. Of course, now I'm tearing up. If you are in this spot at all this year, I just want you to know that you're not alone. That those deep, horrible feelings, those really hard feelings, they're not final. Let yourself have those feelings, but also navigate through them and know there is a way through them, and there is always, always, always an other side to those feelings and to that life. And in life, we are constantly evolving and changing, and maybe our lives don't look the same because the same people aren't there, but there is still so much to celebrate and to be joyful for, and to love and to have. And I hope that this maybe helped you a little bit this holiday season. I haven't even drank any of my coffee because I've just been enjoying our chat so much. This is one of our very first Dolly Dingle mugs, designed by Susan Circus, who is also in heaven. I was just about to apologize for my voice and because of my nose, but again, we're gonna work on not apologizing and just saying I'm here with my cold that is almost gone. And I'm just so glad to be here, and I really appreciate you being here with me and listening. And if you are new here, again, a warm welcome to you. This is my shop, and our videos and what we offer and put out is just like our feelings, always changing and always evolving. I am not the same person that I was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. None of us are. We learn, we evolve, we change, our feelings change. What I can offer to the world as far as my content and what I do is always changing, especially based on my life circumstances with a baby and everything. But what this always is and always will be is a safe, non-judgmental space for dolls and for feelings. That's always been my, I don't want to say bread and butter, but that's always been my anthem. That's always been what I offer and put out to the world, is that nothing is wrong with you if you have feelings or thoughts or dolls or whatever. When I started to put out content and when I started to do things, one of my biggest things is I wanted people to feel a sense of community and to feel normal around their collecting and their dolls and what they wanted to do. I wanted them to feel normal if they had 8,000 dolls or they had one or they had none, but they were interested and liked to look. I wanted them to feel, and when I say normal, like none of us are normal, but accepted and loved and appreciated and never ostracized for if you're a man and you like dolls, if you're anything. I mean, just so many crazy ways that I feel like we have been judged in the past, or the dolls themselves have been judged in the past, or just being a human sometimes is really hard. And I've always just wanted to talk about it and put it out there and help everybody feel accepted, especially men, straight men, gay men, young men, women. All of us as human beings, we have all felt different ways, especially like in crowds or in groups or whatever. The world is just getting so much better. But my big thing is that you're accepted here. You are allowed here. I want you to just enjoy. Like, I want you to come to my channel, and I want you to come to my page and my posts, and I don't want it to be work. I want it to be fun and enjoyable and leave you feeling a little bit better. And maybe we can get through a lot of this together. The doll community and the doll life that we lead here, and the dolls that we buy and sell and put out on our channel, but also just life in general. Many of you have been with me for like a long time. And when I say a long time, we've known each other even on social media for more than a decade. And so you've seen me through everything. And if you are one of those people, or you just found my channel today or whatever, I really appreciate you. And I'm so glad that you're here. And I really rely on videos and social media to connect with you. And so I hope we can just stay friends for a very long time. My next video, I know I said in my last video that the next video is the Christmas special. The next video is the Christmas special, because we're going to be filming that today, and it's going to take a little bit longer to get edited than this one. This is a talking head video. That's what I call them, a talking head, because I'm just a talking head sitting here talking, except I got a red nose and probably a stuffy voice. But this Christmas display is so pretty. And we're just going to go through and film it. It's not going to be anything crazy, but I'm just going to film it and show it and talk about it a little bit. And we're just going to talk about Christmas, and then that's about it. So whatever holiday that you celebrate around this time, Hanukkah, your version of the holiday, Christmas, just all of it, I hope that you have a very blessed time. I hope that you have some peace and some love and some joy, and you smile. And I know the news is heavy, and I know so many things that are happening can just like take the wind out of you, but try and tune into that joy and that peace. Maybe think of some beautiful memories that you have that bring a smile to your face. And if it's hard right now, just know that that feeling is not final. Your feelings someday will soften to joy, and you'll be able to crack a smile when you talk about somebody or think about somebody. And maybe that's not happening right now, and nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you if your life is hard right now. You're still a worthy, special, good, valuable person to this planet. And we want you here, and I want you here, and I want you to promise me that you're never going to give up, okay? We are in this together. We are not going to give up. We are not going to let grief get the best of us. We're going to do this, and we're going to do it together. All right. So from my doll shop to yours, Dolly Dingle right here, and my baby, and everybody, we wish you a wonderful holiday season, and I'll see you in the next video for a little tour of our shop, of our Christmas stuff that we got going on, because my mom loved Christmas. Everybody knows that. If you've been on my channel more than 10 seconds, you know that my mom loved Christmas. And so we're just gonna talk about it, and we're gonna look at it. It'll be fun. So mwah, I love you so much. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Yes, we're a very busy girl today. We're a very busy girl in the doll shop. What are you doing? What are you doing, Hollandian?